huge for the program.
This is I think you should buy.
Yeah, I think you should
Episode
buy.
episode number 1.
Yes, sir.
What
Yeah, I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. Like,
dude,
I don't know. I feel like we've talked about it before, but like within the last week or so, like we're like actually got serious, and then here we are.
here we are.
We're
Yeah.
we're mic'd up.
Yeah, I was gonna
Shout out
say
Bezos for the overnight, literally 2 or 3 hour delivery from when I ordered it. It's
the
insane.
Amazon delivery.
It's nuts, dude.
Yeah, I feel like it was a must since you're down in AZ for 3 months.
Yeah.
So
Got to take advantage of it.
yeah, and then plan is to run
Switch-
it on Zoom.
Yeah, switch it to Zoom, which I think will be super easy as well. And then whenever you're in my hood or I'm in your hood, we'll make sure to hop on live like
When
this.
I'm in Maui.
Yeah, you're in Maui or in AZ, or when we're back home for the holidays, or we're both in Coeur d'Alene, or whatever it might be. Anytime we can get together, I think it'd be sweet to link up. And even if we shoot a couple, bank them, and
Shoot a pod, yeah.
get as many in person as we can. But if not, it's the beauty of the world right now. It's pretty easy to do it over Zoom, and
True.
we can have it just the same. So
Lego.
yeah, dude, I'm pumped. I think it's gonna be sick.
Yeah, so I feel like the whole premise of us doing the podcast is just to get a feel for or not a feel. We want to talk about real estate, our lives, obviously with us being mortgage loan officers.
Yeah.
That is real estate essentially, and then also just going over personal stuff, what we're going through, and
Yeah, I feel like we don't necessarily like have a premise, but that's kind of what I like about it. We'll just kind of see what it turns into. But I think the big thing is just staying consistent, just saying like, all right, we're locked in, or at least give it a year where we're gonna, we can commit to like, hey, we're gonna do a pod a week, and at the end of the year, if we're like, this sucks, we hate it, then
then
we
stuff.
don't ever have to
That's
do it
not
again.
gonna happen.
But I don't think, yeah, like you said, I don't think that's gonna happen. And at the very least, it's like just two buddies hopping on, like just like we already call each other, FaceTime each other at least probably like 3 or 4 times a week to talk about stuff. But this is one that we can just document.
Well, the nice thing too is like most people would have to like pay for this, and we're giving it out for free.
We're just handing out gems.
Yeah, so I mean, this is like something you're not going to want to miss out on.
Yeah.
So like, tell me your thoughts on like AI.
Yeah. So actually, can you give me like your thoughts of like the geopolitical state of our country?
Yeah, dude. Like a lot of the hard hitting topics will be discussed. Will be discussed on this podcast. So tune in. We're gonna try to post like once a week.
Yeah, once a week, I think, and we'll keep them short, probably like 30 minutes or so. And if 1 week we got to be quick because we're slammed, shoot a 15-20 minute, or 1 week if we're bored or we got something really hot to talk about, they can go longer. But I think 30 minutes is a good start, and we'll just kind of see where it goes. But yeah, like you said, obviously we're both loan officers. We've been good friends since we were little kids, roomed together in college, all that type of stuff. So for the people that don't know, like we already talk to each other almost on a daily basis, just because we're going through a lot of the same things. Like you recently got married, I'm about to get married, you just had your first kid, we're going to be having kids in the next couple years,
hopefully sooner rather than later. But
yeah, it would be elite for our kids to just grow up together and stuff, which they still will. But and then obviously the big one is we're both mortgage lenders, so it's kind of a not your typical where we're kind of just finding our way through this thing and kind of throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. And so you and me have been able to really like leverage and utilize each other for that. Yeah. Even if it's just like, bro, today sucked. I had like XYZ happen, and I've been grinding, and like you finally get a deal and then it falls out because of something that's not in our control. Like even if it's just us calling each other to just be like, bro, sometimes I just want to quit. I hate this. It's like, even for that, like it's been so good. So I think other people, even if they're opening a ice cream shop or whatever, like anything entrepreneurial, like it's just, we're just trying to stumble our way through this. And I feel like people, might enjoy that. And then
you gotta respect it. If anything, you gotta respect it. So,
I mean, no, just keep it real too. I think, obviously like we're buddies, we joke around and stuff a lot too. I feel like just be ourselves and it'll be fun.
Just be yourself.
For sure,
at the end of the day, like if you just be yourself,
that's what I'm trying to show in this podcast.
People will watch if you just be yourself. So
like if you take one thing away from this podcast, it's just like believe in yourself, like just follow your heart.
Well, and take that, like you're listening to two guys that believe in themselves and they're ready to invest they're invest in themselves. But in all seriousness, it's cool. Like me and Kyle talked about, we're like, dude, let's shoot a podcast. We went to elementary school together, middle school, high school, roommates in college, and then after we graduated, I mean, we've always been super good friends, but we didn't stay in touch probably nearly as much as we do now. And then we got in the mortgage industry around the same time, and now we're like, all right, let's share the wealth of knowledge that we have. And then we'll obviously talk about things throughout the week or whatever's just going on.
I'm sure during football season we'll be talking Seahawks.
Yeah,
and,
talking about
just whatever's going on, like kind of keeping it open to whatever this turns into. But I think we'll definitely be focusing on, real estate's such a big part of our life that I'm sure we'll be talking about that quite a bit. And,
I won't say most of the time, but a lot of it will be mortgage related. But we're not going to bore the people on like program. That's already
If every week it's like, so this is what an appraisal is. Like people are probably gonna be like, all right, next. So, I don't know. I think we're just gonna kind of stumble our way through, and I'm sure our video quality and sound and like we don't know for lack of a better term, we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Go easy on us because we're rookies. So
complete. So we're just kind of gonna figure it out, and it'll be fun, man.
So I want to start by asking you, just so the viewers have the people that don't know who you are, give us like an insight on where you're at in life right now, who you are who you are as a person. You don't got to go that deep right off the jump, but fill us in on what's new with life right now. Obviously you're in AZ for 3 months in Scottsdale.
So we're down here in Scottsdale. You guys were honestly a big part of it. As you know, we bought our first investment property almost 2 years ago now. And the plan was, about a year, buy that property, live in one of the units, rent out the other, which we did, fix up the unit while we were in it, which we did, renovate that, and then turn it into a strictly investment property. So that's kind of where we're at now with that. And that's why we're down in AZ is because,
which in hindsight, I mean, we talked about this. It's like the fact that you did that as a first time home buyer, and like, not to say you got it out of the way, because obviously it's a great house, right? But like the fact that you bought a duplex as your first purchase, and now you have 2 units just cash flowing you. It's got to feel like you're like, that was the best move ever.
Yeah, and it was something that I literally wanted to do since you were
since 3 years old. You always talked about.
Ever since I was like,
I remember
Google got duplex. Like
when in elementary school, you were always just like, when I get older, like I just want to own a duplex.
No, but for real though, ever since I was probably in high school or so, because my grandpa has rental properties, and I
just can't stop thinking about you, like just at recess, just like you guys, like why don't we talk about investing?
Yeah, just that dodgeball, like no guys, like let's take today off. I actually want to talk to you guys.
No, like what toys have you got? Like I'm saving money for my duplex.
Yeah, exactly. But in all seriousness, since I was probably in high school, I've wanted to do it, and I'm a freaking dork, so I've been I write my goals down, and that was one that has been in my notepad for probably 5+ years. And so when I got to cross that bad boy off, it was sick. And that's a reason why we do get to be down here right now, is because a lot of people probably know the housing industry was a little slower the past couple of years. So my income dropped a little bit, but having that income from that property, I probably wouldn't be down here, doing what I'm doing if we didn't have that. Cause it covers basically that property covers over half of our housing expense down here. So me and Jasmine, when we split what's left over at the month, it's super, super cheap. So we're kind of down here, have that behind us now, which was a big, felt good.
Well, hold on, the American way is now that you don't have that many expenses, you have to have a kid to have your money go to something else now.
Yeah, I don't think you can try every episode. I'm still putting that off a couple of years if I can, but we'll see. Time will tell. But so that's kind of where we're at now. I mean, that's the real estate side of it. Obviously, we're getting married in a few months here. So that's obviously something that we're
in one of the best spots ever, Coeur d'Alene Resort.
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which Jasmine's actually from there and her whole family's there. So she's always wanted to get married there. I obviously, as the guy, was like, I don't care.
Whatever you want, babe.
I was like, we can get married at DeCourcy Park.
That'd actually be pretty sweet too if you did that.
Yeah, with all the ducks. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Got that coming up. Got the batch trip coming up in Canada here soon too. So
we're like what, 2 months away?
Yeah. So got that. Got the wedding. It's kind of where we're at in life right now. Yeah, I'll flip it back to you. I know you got a lot to kind of go over as well.
Yeah, honestly, just becoming a dad and trying to figure out how to maneuver that. I'm lucky enough to have Bree, who is like unreal with how she's able to juggle like 6 things at once, which is,
she's a beast.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make it gender specific and say because I'm a man I just don't have that in the bag, but I think a lot of the times most males that I'm friends with cannot.
I think that's fair to say. Yeah.
I don't want to be sexist, but like, yeah, she's been insane with being able to juggle things, which allows me to do things like this, shoot a podcast with you, and dude, being a dad's been crazy because the time management aspect of things is just like drastic. Like I talked to probably talked to you about this, but with Bree, I was just like, when we first met in college, and still to this day, like I'm not great, but I'm like the most selfish person with my time. Like I will do, or I used to do, I still do a little bit, but I used to be like, I'm doing X, Y, and Z first, and then like once all my stuff's done, then like everyone else comes. And having a kid has just like changed my entire mindset on like how I look at life, which sounds cliche, but like
it's true though. I mean, it's cliche for a reason.
Yeah, so it's been good being a dad, working, and trying to play golf when I can, and stay in shape. You know, me and Kyle ran a marathon in September.
Yeah.
So might hit one of those again here in the next. I know we're thinking about doing the Goggins.
Yeah, the Goggins, and then Logan wants to do maybe rim to rim at this time next year, which could be really cool as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say Logan could be a potential guest as well.
He'd be a nice little reoccurring guest, maybe even like the Strider to our JT.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I got to get you out for the Maui Marathon too.
That's a must.
I was gonna do that when we were there, but ended up getting injured right before, so I haven't been able. So I've been wanting to do that one. So I think the boys doing that would be sweet in the next couple of years too.
Yeah, being able to run that. I mean, I feel like some people are probably like, you're talking about like enjoying running 26 miles, but it's just like fulfilling, right? Like the training is what's fun to like lead up, and then the actual run's fun too. But
not that we would really know because
we didn't
train at all for the last one, and it showed. Yeah, especially with me, I was hobbling my way down the last 6 miles or so.
But. Yeah, I feel like you and I both have like the I don't know what you would call it, but we just like, I want to say it's confidence, but it's more like I'm just gonna like corner myself into like I'm gonna do it, and so I don't know how it's gonna end up, but
I'll take it saying it's confidence. I think with me it was just honestly just being stupid, and putting it off. But and I don't even know if I agree like with the enjoyment of it, but something like wants to keep doing it. So there's something there for sure. It's just
it's a mind game,
taking something that's hard and getting it done. So.
It's gonna I wanted to talk about, just because it's like the first episode, and we're going to try to, talk a little bit about work and real estate and mortgage and loans, which that side of stuff like isn't always the most fun to talk about. But I wanted to ask you like, so you can explain how you got into the mortgage industry, how you've been enjoying it, give the audience a little bit of a breakdown on what that looks like right now for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, why I got in, it honestly kind of goes back to like when I was saying like childhood. My grandpa had a bunch of rentals, and so I would, I was kind of some of the labor on those, like when a place needed a new roof or new floors or paint or whatever.
Was it free or were you getting paid?
He was making it worth our while, I think, for the most part when we were
kids. You're saying that like he was like low-key like giving you like drugs or something? You're like, he hooked this up.
No. I mean, he I think for the most part, I'm even just trying
like $20,
trying to remember, but I think he was throwing us some cash. And now sometimes I help on some of the properties, and he, like I said, he makes it worth the while.
Makes you dinner. I mean, now when you're old.
I mean, Nana's sandwiches, dude. I would do it alone for Nana's sandwiches. Yeah. But regardless, kind of grew up seeing him do that. And so I was lucky enough to just have like role models. Both sets of my grandparents have just always been pretty frugal and good savers. And, so I'm lucky to just have people in my life that I could kind of like pick up stuff. Even if I didn't realize I was picking it up, now that I'm older, I know that I was.
Yeah.
But so I always kind of knew, I was like, dang, I kind of want to invest in real estate. There's something to that. Like I knew that he was, collecting rent checks and stuff like that. And, they're able to do a lot of cool stuff for a family. So I was like, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. Obviously, we both went to WSU. I got a degree in finance and minored in economics. And so kind of knew I wanted to get into finance regardless.
Slight flex.
Yes, I mean, slight flex, yeah. Economics minor. Wow, so impressive. But yeah, so I knew I wanted to get into finance, and I remember looking in high school, like Googling finance jobs that have good salaries, and mortgage broker was one of them, which it didn't say at the time, like 100% commission,
Yeah.
So
they
it kind of tricked me a little bit, I think. But so I kind of had that bug in my head. But once I graduated, did a little financial advising, like really briefly, and it was like unpaid and things like that. I was driving 3 hours a day commuting, stuff like that.
Where was that at?
It was in Bellevue.
With who?
It was New York Life.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, one of my buddies from my fraternity was in there, so I went to kind of work with him, and he was crushing it, still is. But just it was the commute and everything. I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this. It's killing me.
So you're driving from Puyallup to Seattle.
Yeah, and so yep, and so not every day, but quite a bit. And so I was like, I got to find something closer. And it just so happened that down the road, there was a company called One Main Financial that they do more consumer loans. And it's kind of a little bit a lot of the times to people that were in situations that they needed to consolidate debt, and kind of was a stepping stone to get their credit back in order and stuff like that. And so it gave a little salary and was like a 7-minute commute about. So I was like, hey, I'm going to see what kind of this does, and if I like it. And so it was actually in a small little like branch office, like with like 3 or 4 of us, kind of like a bank branch.
Yeah.
Started doing the consumer loans, and I was like, I actually like this. Like getting to meet people every day was, people were walking.
So it was all in person?
It was all in person. And, you were just, whether it be on the phones or just mainly from people walking in and saying like, hey, I want to buy a car or a boat or a RV or whatever. I got debt I need to consolidate or whatever. Yeah. Started doing that. And, you were physically meeting with people every day, like getting their financials, crunching numbers and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I like this because I'm not just crunching numbers sitting behind a desk. I'm interacting with people. Every day's different because every person's different a little bit. So I liked that. And then after a while, I was just kind of noticed, I was like, I just don't know like how much room for growth there is here. And I've always wanted to invest in real estate for myself. So I was like, that's also lending. It's on a bigger scale. There's more room for growth. You have more kind of autonomy over your hours, your income, and things like that.
Yeah.
Which was a little scary because the training was down in Texas, and my job interviews were just completely over the computer. So I haven't even met anyone. And I was like, I hope this isn't just some sort of scam or anything. And literally drove down to Texas, did like a 13-week training. And at the end of it, the training was to teach you all the stuff. So I took my mortgage licensing exam after, passed it, and they placed me I got super lucky. They placed me with an awesome team, which shout out to Chris and Allie Lord. But, and I've been with them ever since. It's been over 4 years now. And,
dang, that's crazy. I didn't realize it's been that long.
Yeah, it is. And so, like 5 years in lending total, about 4 years with, their team and in mortgage. So that's kind of how it all happened. It was, it's just funny how like little decisions you make can have such a big change. Because I was like 50-50. I literally ripped out a piece of paper, T-chart, pros, cons, and like all this stuff.
From staying at One Main.
From staying or like driving across the country and taking this big risk of, I don't know a single person, never even met a single person in person, but literally I was just like, you know what? Like, if I don't try now, when will I try? Well, but seriously, I was like, you know what? I'm young. Even if this goes horribly and I hate it, whatever.
Yeah, how old you were? What, 24?
I was probably like
24,
23 or 24. Well, let's reverse. I'm 27 now, so yeah, I was like probably 23. And I was just like, well, worst case, it sucks. whatever. I'm young.
Yeah.
I can figure it out after, but lucky for me, I loved it. And, it's been the best decision I've ever made because now, we don't work hours or necessarily have people that are telling us what to do. You kind of get to figure your own
Yeah,
stuff
you're
out
your own
and
boss,
build your business in a way that works for you, which is awesome. And it also can be really stressful and hard and difficult. But we're both still in the business for a reason. It's because we enjoy it.
Yeah, we enjoy it. We like it. And like talking to people.
Yeah. So that might have been a long-winded answer.
No, I think it's good.
That's kind of the whole workaround. But yeah, what about you? How'd you kind of get into it?
Yeah, so you obviously know Bree and I moved to Arizona, 2018. I'll just tell the story of like when so my mom's boyfriend, Russell, he still is in the mortgage industry. He was worked for Bank of America, and they started dating. My mom and Russ started dating, I think like sophomore year of college.
Okay.
And so he kind of like would pepper in like, hey, I feel like, because he was in the mortgage industry, he's like, I feel like you should look into doing mortgages. I think you do very well doing it. So I had that bug in my ear, and then once it got closer to graduating, people would ask me what I was going to do, and I'm like, oh, mortgages. But I didn't even know what a mortgage was. Just like, yeah, I'm going to be a mortgage loan officer.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, really? Like, why? I'm like, yeah, I just think I'd be good at it. I have no idea like what exactly I'd be doing, and that's the honest truth. So I interviewed with a couple people in Scottsdale before I graduated, and they were all like, dude, you have no internships, no experience. You can be a junior loan officer and make, I think it was a little over minimum wage. And they're like, you just kind of watch. Yeah. And me being like naive, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to sit behind somebody. Like, I can do it myself. So I ended up getting a job, like this is any better, as a car salesman. At a car dealership, and I started like 2 weeks after we moved down here. Have I told you the story?
I don't even think I knew that,
dude. So we moved down here, and my job after getting a 4-year degree is a car salesman. Yeah, like me and Landon walked into a dealership, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll hire you." Like obviously they're gonna be like, "Yeah, sure." They're probably like, "What are you doing here?" Yeah. So I have a start date where we had been living here for about a week and a half, and then I had my start date. So I show up. And they threw me in like this back room to have me doing like classes to get, I don't know, some, signature, whatever, onboarding stuff. Yeah. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Like, this is ridiculous. And so that day they're having a barbecue for the company. So I go out there, and the guy that like hired me, the hiring manager, was like, hey, I want you to go up and like shake the owner of the dealership's hand. Yeah. And I'm like, that's just not my personality. So I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, like just go introduce yourself. Like he will like it. And I'm like, all right. So I go up and I'm like, hey, like it's my first day. Nice to meet you. My name's Nick. And he goes, yeah, nice to meet you. And he just continues to talk to the other guys. And that was just like, I'm like, all right, that's my sign. Like, I'm like, I'm not doing this, so I'm not going to do this as a career. What am I doing?
They just had you in the back, just glued to Andy Elliott video.
Yeah, dude. They were getting me fired up. Yeah. And so the funniest part is I show up. I told the guy that hired me, like, hey, I'll be right back. I got to run home. And I'm like, I'm not going back. And I show up, and Bree's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And so I basically was just like banking on myself. I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. And there was like, I was a broke college kid. I probably had like $500, $1,000 saved up. Yeah. And was just like, I'm going to figure this out. And Bree was a huge help because she had graduated the year before. So she had money saved up to help us get down here. But long-winded answer is I ended up doing a sales job for a year from Evan Fung, got me on with his company he was working with. Yeah. And learn just kind of be on the phone. And then after that, I was like, all right, I know what I want to do. I need to actually just go out and do it. And so I ended up jumping on with Loan Depot, which is like it's a consumer direct. I mean, but for the people that don't, it's like it's a call center, basically. It's a glorified call center, but you're helping homeowners refinance their mortgage to get lower interest rates. So save money on their monthly payment when the market rate drops. And then doing cash out refinance is kind of similar to the. And
you just happen to get into that. The best interest rate market ever
in history. So it was. I got licensed there and was able to help like 300 families plus. Like because I was on the phone. So my job every day was
Yeah.
I clocked in at 7 o'clock a.m. Not willingly, sometimes my manager would text me and be like, "Hey, where are you?" Because you had to work like 10 hours a day, or
Yeah.
like if you weren't producing numbers, then you need to be working more.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like I think I started in July of 2019, and so I think it was like December or January when like the COVID stuff started coming out, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I worked remote for like I would say 70% of my time there. But long story short, I was able to get a good amount of knowledge, and I really learned how to be on the phone and communicate with people, especially when talking about their finances, which I think is like a huge skill.
Yeah, you're just getting so many reps.
Yeah.
Like that's huge.
Well, I was just going to say, like, generally, I think it takes a certain kind of person or just having to learn how to talk talk about money. Because, like, the reality is a lot of people don't like talking about their finances, especially if it's not coming from a good place. So to be able to, like, have serious conversations with people and be like, hey, this is what you need to do if you want to have a way out, especially people that have poor credit or they're drowning in debt. So fast forward from 3 years there, I finally made the jump. My father-in-law's friend worked for a mortgage company based out of Dallas, but he was in Spokane. He worked out of Spokane, and there was a branch in Scottsdale. So he's like, "Hey, you don't want to work at a call center for the rest of your life, right?" And I'm like, "No, right?" And he's like, "So I think it's time for you to make the jump. You're going to enjoy doing this a lot more. It's going to be a lot more relationship based, where you're working with people aside from just being a guy on the other side of the phone."
Yeah.
And now we're at where we're at now. It's been cool because of the fact that you and I both started in similar spots, but different in the sense that we weren't doing the same day-to-day stuff, and now we are.
Kind of, but yeah, now it's sick. And I think we could probably, we're probably getting close on time already, but like we could probably do a whole episode of like the switch from like you just got to call these people and you get all these leads every day to like all of a sudden get put on a desk and it's like, all right, now go figure it out.
Yeah.
Because we don't get any leads in our job now. It's like, if you want to get paid, you got to go find someone who needs a mortgage, I guess. So
yeah,
I think that would be a good topic for down the road.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I'm sure we both have. I already have a story off the top of my head about just going from Loan Depot to Guardian, where I'm at now, and first day getting in the office and looking at the guy who Steve, who hired me, and being like, yeah, so like what do I do now? Like I finished all my onboard, and he's like, whatever you want. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's kind of a trip when you think about it.
Yeah.
But we're still here, so we're figuring it out.
Doing something
good enough, at least. All right, let's jump back into it. But before we get into that kind of segment that we were talking about, I did want to mention one thing that I thought about when you were talking about is like how you were just kind of like a little bit naive, but you were also just like, no, I don't want to like do that. Like I just want to figure it out. Like I think I can do it. I think we both have that kind of trait, which sometimes is just being naive or just being like a little bit just, I guess, overly optimistic. But I do think that serves us well in this industry. And like you move into Arizona when you had literally like no money.
Yeah.
And, like you said, $500 in your bank account or whatever. And us doing the same thing with Maui when we didn't know a single person there or had no connections there, like, or jumping into the industry like this. I feel like we both have a little bit of that where it's like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
like, if other people can do it, like, I want to, well, why not us a little bit? Like, I feel like when you were talking about that, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, you said a couple different things in a row where that all came into play.
Yeah, we definitely have similar. Like the last 5 years for us have been like insanely similar.
It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I think that trait has served us both well because, I mean, like we said earlier, the worst thing that happens is like you just try and you fail, and then it's like, okay, well, either
it wasn't that bad.
Go figure out another way to get it done, or I'll find something else. Like so
you have to try. You have to take risks.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Especially at this age, because we still have so much runway.
Well, yeah, that's why we moved when we did out of college. I'm like, if there's a time to move or where we want to move, might as well do it now. If we 100%. Hate it, move back home. So.
Yeah. Usually the thing like holding you back from stuff like that, like the worst case scenario, if you think about it, isn't that bad. So it's just like, okay, then why not give it a shot? Because that's probably not even going to happen. But if that's the worst case, then okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to touch on that because I was thinking about that a few times with some of the stuff you were saying. But to move on, we figured, and we might even add stuff later, or take this out if we don't end up liking it. But kind of have a segment. We were thinking and to have it somewhat real estate related, and this is kind of a little bit knocked off of one of my favorite podcasts and a podcast that we both listen to a little bit, but doing our buy and sell of the week and just having your buy. These words can be kind of used however you want them to, but a buy just be something you're kind of stoked on for the week or something that just fired you up that week or that you're excited about. And your sell of the week being something the opposite that, maybe sucked, or basically being buy like you liked it, and sell being like you're selling it, you don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And so something you're excited about or pumped about, and something that is, that you could do without, or something that pisses you off, or bugs you. So,
dude, my buy this week is Arizona Summers, and that's an extremely hot take.
That is literally a hot take.
It is a hot take, figuratively and literally. But here's my reason why, is because of the fact that golf is so much cheaper, and so I have learned to enjoy Arizona Summers because of the fact you can go out and play one of the best courses for $80, where now $80 will get you a tee time at 4 o'clock in the afternoon at one of the worst courses. So I like it. I honestly don't mind the heat. So I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to May and June, and then obviously July will be celebrating your wedding. So but yeah, dude, that's my buy as Arizona Summers. My sell, dude, I gotta think about it.
I know. I thought about this segment, and I don't even have any. I'm just gonna have to go off the rip for this.
Yeah, my sell would be Jerome Powell, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy's been absolutely
just because
looking us up.
Dude. Yeah, we'd love to see rates go just a hair down. I'm not asking for a ton. Jerome, if you're watching this, I'm not asking for a ton. But if you just
he's going to be a big subscriber. He's going to absolutely love this.
I don't even know why I said if, because we know you're.
We're going to get him on the hook.
Yeah. He'll be one of the guests.
Yeah.
For episode 4 or 5 probably.
Yeah, and we're just gonna not even tell him, and then just roast him.
I just get him in. It's just gonna be a roast, not a podcast.
Yeah. No, I love it, and I agree with everything you just throw, Jerome, because you are going to be watching this. Just throw us a bone here. Come on, just give us a little something to play with. But all right, so I'm going to go with my sell of the week first, because I still have to think of a buy. But my sell of the week is Arizona drivers.
Dude,
specifically on the 101, but really anywhere. People drive they need to be locked up in a ward here, bro.
Dude, I'm blaming it. It's California drivers that have moved here.
It's wherever I'm going. I'll go 10 over, and it's still someone behind me.
Dude,
swerving.
The sad part is that's me now. The longer you live here, when we moved here, I was the same. Where I'm dude, I'm going 10 over. Why are they riding my ass?
And now that's you.
Now I'm speed up, buddy, or get out of the way. Yeah.
Well, I came from obviously I wasn't there that long, and I just came from Washington. But in Maui, the drivers are literally will stop in the middle of the road, let you out, okay. And then to this, it's just come on.
It doesn't make sense, because to me, everyone in Arizona is 95% of people are in a good mood and happy. So
100%.
Why are we all being pissed off?
It's just a little culture thing, I guess.
Everyone wants to be where they want to be quickly.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just say that, and the 101, just the construction and stuff.
We almost said that.
We almost got in a wreck the other day because someone was just parked in the right lane, in the freeway with their hazards on.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, that's probably what you think, being here as long as you are.
Yeah, it just comes with it.
Yeah, but so that's my sell. That's been a little bit of a learning curve for me. And my buy, I feel like I had one earlier that I was going to talk about, but I got one. Speaking from last night, we went to a stand-up comedy show. I'm just going to say stand-up comedy. That's been something over the last couple of years that
brought you out of a super dark place.
I was really struggling until I found stand-up comedy.
We probably wouldn't even be sitting here if it wasn't for stand-up.
Just all due to stand-up. But no, for real, just been hitting maybe a show per quarter. First of all, it's cheap. You can see pretty big names at a smaller club for $25. like what we did last night. I think it was somewhere around there. And you can see pretty like big household names or people that you really like. It's cheap, it's fun. You get to laugh and kind of just forget about everything else for a little bit. I mean, like I said, it's not really that deep, but I just enjoy it. It's fun.
No, I like it. I like it.
And yeah, I mean, it's just fresh on my mind since we did it last night. So
that's a good pick. Repeat, no, that was fun. I feel like the fact that because you were the one that invited me to go, like I feel like we'll probably hit one or two more before you leave Arizona. Yeah, and I kind of want to just go to more now, even when you're not here.
Yeah, it's fun. And I mean, like last night, we were front row. Yeah, we paid 20, like I think it was $50 or $60 for. I bought both of the tickets. That was combined total, and we were front row.
Yeah,
like 5 feet away from the comics. So I mean, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, cool, man. I mean, I think we're probably over 30 minutes. Should we cap
Wrap it up? Yeah.
We got to save some sauce for episodes here.
Yeah, keep everybody on their toes, waiting for the next episode.
Dude, this was fun though. This was sick.
Yeah, well, just honestly, we'll hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go hard. I almost said go hard on us. Go light on us because we're just learning. But
or go hard. Yeah, let's do. If we suck, like you guys suck. Yeah, fix this, and this.
Just comment like I'm definitely not tuning in to the next episode.
Just absolutely roast us, and we're gonna be figuring out how the heck to edit and do the camera and audio and all that. So it's gonna be a learning curve for sure. And hopefully a year from now, when we're still chugging along, we look back at these and be like, oh, those sucked, and we're have got it all figured out. But we'll stumble through it, and even if we have 2 listeners and it's just like our girlfriends or our wives, and at that point, and the fiance for me, wife for you, and our moms, then who cares? Because this was fun. So well, I'll take it.
Yeah, thanks guys. We'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Good looks.